Hello and welcome to this class about population and economy. We're going to see some main ideas about population like migration, natural increase, and some main ideas about economy such primary, secondary and tertiary sectors. Let's start with population. Population. The absolute population of a specific area is the number of people who live there. So, for example, if we Google Madrid, London, for example, London, and we go to the Wikipedia, we can find out about the population of this city. Here we are. Population over 8 million people. What about New York? New York is also a huge city and is over also 8 million. And Madrid is smaller than those two, but is a big city with over 3 million people. But we can talk about two different kinds of population regarding where they live. Urban population, it refers to the people who live in the cities, such Madrid, New York and London, the ones we just saw. And rural population, on the other side, is made up of the people who live in the villages and towns. So they have less population. Another key concept that we need to understand about population is the natural increase. It is the difference between the number of people who are born in a year and the number of people who die in the same year. So when we have more people dying in a year, more people than people who are born in that year, we have a negative natural increase. So that population is not growing, is decreasing. On the contrary, when we have more people born in a year than the people dying in the same period of time, we talk about positive natural increase. And that's good for an area, a country, because the population grows. So how we count the people of a city or of a country? For example, in Spain we have different methods. We have the census, in which people are registered by name, surname, age and address, and it's very important for voting purposes. If you are not registered in the Censo Electoral, you cannot vote. Also, we have the Registro Civil, which is a list of the newborns, marriages and deaths of a particular year. So at the end of the year we can know how many people are dying and getting born, and this way we can know the natural increase. Population density is a very important concept, and we will practice it in class with some exercises. By now we can explain that the density is the number of inhabitants who live in a square kilometer, like this. So to calculate it, we need to know the number of inhabitants in that place and the surface area, and we will have the density as a result. If we look in Google again, London, in the Wikipedia, we can find out about the density, and it's 5.2. In New York, for example, the density is higher, very high indeed, 27.5. And what about Madrid? Madrid has a very low density, 5.3. Following this concept of population density, let's have a look about another concept, population distribution. Well, in this map you can see different colors. The dark colors are the places with higher population density. like Madrid and Barcelona. And the yellow areas are the places with less density. Why this could happen? Why are not evenly distributed? Why? Well, because some reasons. A good climate, maybe. On the first side, we see that around the coast, the population is higher. It has a higher density. And also, because it has a good climate, of course. Also, because these places have better resources, more job opportunities, and good services, such a good health service, doctors, education, good schools, and so on. Okay, let's have a look now at the population density map of the whole world. As we can see, India, Japan, and some European countries are the countries with the highest density. In general, Asia and Europe are the most dense, although there are some African countries and Central American countries with high density too. Population groups. We can classify the population of a country, for example, by age, finding the juvenile group, which is the people who is under 15 years old, the adult group, which is between 15 and 64 years old, and finally the senior group, which is over 65 years old. Also, we can classify the population by gender, differentiating between men and women. Okay, now that we have learned about the population idea and different concepts, let's talk about the population movements. Why people move in the same country or to different countries. Well, that's called migration. Migration is the movement of people from one place of residence to another. And it could happen for different reasons. We have in here two different groups: the natural causes and social factors. Natural causes includes prolonged droughts, floods, and earthquakes. There are some countries which continuously suffer natural disasters. Well, people who live in those countries want to live in a better place, in a safer place. So that's why they migrate. The social factors include a variety of reasons, like to find better job opportunities, or better health services, or freedom of religion and speech without being persecuted, also to avoid hunger and wars. Well, migration has two different types: the internal migration and the international migration. The internal is also called domestic migration, and it takes place within the same nation. For example, Spain experienced a huge rural exodus and domestic migration between 1961 and 1975. And that happened because in the countryside, the technology enabled fewer workers to do the same amount of work. So those people who didn't have any job in the country had to leave for the cities to find better opportunities, looking for a job or to study a new career or finding a better place to live in general. International migration happens when people migrate from one country to another. So, Spain has attracted immigrants from Africa, from Eastern European countries, and Central and South America for economic reasons until now, because now of the lack of employment, Spanish people are emigrating again to countries such as Germany, UK, France, etc. Okay, to finish up with this unit about population, let's resume the characteristics of the population of Spain nowadays. The population density of Spain is getting low. The positive natural increase is very small because less people is getting born every year and more people are dying. So is a negative increase in population. Population is not evenly distributed. As we saw in the map, the coast and the community of Madrid are the most populated, but there are some areas with very low density. Population is getting older. The adult and senior population is greater than the juvenile. And total population today is over 47 million people, and there are over 5 million people from other nationalities living here, although they are flying back to their countries because of the lack of employment. And finally, the homework for this unit. Well, you need to find out if any member of your family has emigrated or if she is an immigrant. It could be an internal or international migration, and you have to explain why he or she moved to countries or cities, and also explain how they felt in this new situation, away from home, from family, if they have to learn a new language, for example. You have 3 ways of presenting the task: handmade with drawings, maps, etc., computer made with maps, photos, information that you have found out in the search engines, or a piece of made with the camera, video camera, for example, an interview of your family member. We want you to reflect on how an immigrant could feel when they have to leave their house and family too, to look for better job opportunities or even flee from countries with war situations. And in class, after revising Unit 10, we will do some exercises in the whiteboard, interactive whiteboard.